Yellow has uncontested access to all of those castles now. The 1, 2, that's 4 castles in the center that yellow has access to. 2 farmers versus the 1 from green, 1 from blue.
Yeah, I think it really helped yellow get ahead of green, because now he has those 12 points that green doesn't. So I think it was really good for him.
Massively good. Also, not to mention the points from the Abbey itself, which are currently 4, but looking to be much more as the game progresses towards and develops towards that left-hand side. So it looks certainly like yellow is clearly in the lead here. I wonder, again, the question that I asked in round 2, I wonder to what degree the other players will be looking to either unite and exclude yellow or to actively block yellow. But Carcassonne, it feels like that after a certain stage, it becomes really difficult to block someone who's ahead. What do you think, Martin?
I think in this game, the yellow isn't that far ahead of others. So I think if they have a chance, they would definitely block yellow and try to get points themselves to try to get back in the game.
Back in the game, and just having said that, green has happened to take the lead with that road placement, completing that abbey, and so it does feel like it's going to come down to the farms in the center and yellow's abbey piece, with those 12 points from the central farms as well as that the currently 4 points from that abbey. It's looking like a low scoring game, but it does feel like there is still a lot of gameplay. Actually, I say that there are 13 tiles remaining, so maybe there isn't as much gameplay as I anticipated before. It's looking to wrap up pretty quickly, Martin.
I think the winners will still get like 50-60 points. So I think there's just a lot of points still on the board, but are counted in the end.
Yes, absolutely. Like green's farmer in the top right-hand corner.
Yes.
And yellow's farmers, which are dominating the center of the board.
Yes.
And the abbeys, of course.
And also the castles. Yes.
Yes, blue's large castle, which I can't imagine that blue's large castle is going to contribute in any meaningful way. I mean, blue has that blue has that abbey at the southwest hand side of the board, which is a lovely 8 points, and blue's going to take a lot of points. How many points now is that massive castle? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 13 points that blue's got. I think that I'm wrong to discount any player at this moment, even though we're down to the final 11 tiles. I think I'd like to revise my opinion. I think it's anybody's game.
I think it's definitely possible that somebody would try to, get to the city that blue is building over there. Even
to try
right
to
now.
share those points. It's 13 points. It's a lot of points.
Yes.
I wonder if it's too late though, because most people will only have 3 more placements remaining. With 10 tiles remaining and 4 in hand, that's 14 players. Yeah, most people are going to only have 3 tiles, and 2 people are going to have 4 tiles remaining to play. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think this is the time where you count the tiles and see what the percentages are that you would get there after you place your tile.
It's heating up into I actually really enjoy watching these low-scoring games, because in these low-scoring games, these little 5 or 6 point bursts or 4 point bursts matter all the more in comparison to these other moves. Because when everyone's scoring low, the points matter so much more.
Yes, exactly. That's why I think in the low-scoring games, the points matter even more than otherwise.
Absolutely. Green's thinking a lot here, and he wants to think a little bit. Yes, Green is Lumen actually has a reputation across all of his games in being quite a deliberate player, but especially in Agricola, because he's such a phenom at that game. He plays at this lightning fast speed. I would certainly describe him as an analytical and computational player. He certainly I would be surprised. I'd be very surprised here if he isn't counting tile odds in his head and thinking about that in terms of the repercussions to trying to win. Interestingly, on points alone, green and yellow are tied, although we do know that there's 12 points counted from yellow's farmers and the 4 points from the abbey, which are not counted. And green himself has 2 castles at the top, so 6 points. So it is going to be a pretty tight race. A very tight race indeed. And also that central castle, the one that Lumen finished right at the start of the game, that too is going to factor into things. So it really is going to be any person's game. I would be surprised if there's more than a 10-point discrepancy between first and maybe third. What do you think, Martin?
Yeah, I think that's definitely possible that there might be at least 3 players in 10 points. In difference of 10 points. That was a very nice monastery for blue.
Fantastic by blue. 9 points immediately. The return of his piece. I'm really interested in the decision that the green made on that road placement to not simply place a meeple, because they've got 3 turns remaining. Why not place a little meeple? Why not place a piece? And here we've got red trying to.
Yes? I think yellow might have thought that he would get next moves more points by placing the tile somewhere else. I think this because he has only one left, so I think he thinks that he can get more than 3 points from that place.
Certainly, and we've just seen Lumen take that road for 3 points, and those 3 points are going to certainly matter. I wonder if red is going to manage to execute this plan with so few tiles remaining of connecting through with blue's massive castle up there. I think the odds are against him. I think. Yes, off you go.
I think
Martin.
that might be. I think there are at least 3 what could fit there, but I'm not 100% sure right now. But I think that might be the difference who wins the game. Either red would get into the city or not.
This massive city that blue's got building and that abbey that he just played, I think are actually really massive. Blue's got like 13 points on the board. This is really tight now. It's a really, really tight race. And I think it's anyone's.
Because now blue also got 2 farmers into the grass, right? So he now shares the farmers with the yellow.
Oh, that's true. Is that true? That is true. Yes. Well, that only really affects the main farm, the main castle that Lumen completed in the center of the board, because now blue's got 2 farmers. No, 1 farmer to share those points. But I think that, towards the bottom left-hand corner, Martin, you're absolutely right. Blue has 2 farmers there contesting the 2 farmers that yellow has. And so, blue's very much in it with that last abbey placement. That last abbey placement was massive for blue.
Yeah, I think he has played really well at the end of the game to get his
well done,
chances back. Yes.
And on that note, it feels like we've had a pretty even distribution of the abbeys. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I didn't note this at the time, but it feels like all players have had 1 abbey.
Yes, that's yes. Because I think yellow and red got 1, green got 1, and blue got 2. So I think 1 is more coming.
Oh, there's still 1 more, is there?
Yes. I think there are 2 with the road and 4 without the road. So 1 is still coming.
Fantastic. Really interesting decision by Drolek.
Actually, there is 1 more monastery in the middle of the board where blue is. So blue has actually 3 monasteries. So there isn't any monasteries left.
I want to draw attention to blue's most recent play at the southeast side of the board, where blue, rather than take the 3 easy points for connecting to the road, has instead decided to place it on the farmer, right? Which means that blue believes that there are more road tiles to connect through, and then take ownership of all of those. Right now, he's tying with the farmers, with yellow's farmers in the center. But if blue can connect that road through and gain access to all of those farms, that's a big swing in blue's favor. That would I think seal the game. But the interesting thing is there are so few tiles remaining. So the question is, will blue be able to connect that through?
Yeah, and the other big thing what happened is that red got his big city next to blue. That he like blue and red now
Oh dear,
have the
yes.
big city.
Is it possible that red is going to come from behind and take this? Certainly not with a
I
farmer
think it's
situation.
yes, but I think that's definitely possible.
Wow, massive for red. Massive for red. If you were playing in blues shoes right now, would that cause you frustration? Would you be angry?
No, I think he didn't mind that much. I think blue thought that the yellow is his biggest opponent, so I think he only thinks about getting this road, but would connect his farmers.
Uh-huh. And now, following Red's path, Green has taken one last-ditch effort to try to join in on the party that Blue's got sorted out. I can't imagine that there are very many tiles remaining in the game, but I'm sure Lumen's done his homework and he's taken the gamble. Maybe he realizes that a final gamble is the only thing that will preserve his chances of victory.
Yep.
Now we get to see whether or not Blue's final two placements are going to pay off and allow him to take full control of all of those four completed castles in the center, which would give him 12 points and take them away from yellow.
Blue really went all in with farmers because now he doesn't have any more pieces left. So yeah, he just maybe tries to
Yes.
block others right now.
Yes, absolutely, and we've seen that. I think that's a disappointing placement for Blue. I think Blue would have preferred like the road piece to connect through his farmer thing.
Well, I think he
And
has one
instead,
more chance. So maybe
he's got one more chance. Yeah. Now the players there are zero tiles remaining, so the players are playing the final tiles that they've drawn, that they've got in their hands, and I couldn't tell you off the top of my head who is going to win. I think these last four tile placements are going to determine everything, particularly if Green can manage to somehow connect everything, and if Blue can manage to connect his farmers. Red taking the 3 points, the proactive thing, take what points you have available, see if that is going to help the win.
I wonder if the players have counted up the scores. So do they know how many points everyone has?
I think, I know that Lumen thinks that way, certainly for Agricola, which is a lot more complicated in terms of point scoring than Carcassonne. He's got a running total in his head. But Lumen is really the only person that has spoken in depth about strategy. So I know that Lumen is likely to have done this. We can talk to, if he decides to join the stream later, we can talk to him about that. That's interesting. You're taking the castle. Absolutely, Lumen. Good job. We're going to see now Blue. It's Blue's last chance now to take that final, to take all of those farms. If Blue can take those farms, it's going to give him a big boost against Yellow. But really, I have to stress, it really isn't anybody's game.
I think if he would have got the road, he would have already put it down. So
played it.
Maybe he didn't. Yeah. I think.
My impression is that Blue and Red are really close to being able to win, and that Green has fallen behind in the past like 5 tile placements. What are your impressions right now? I mean, we're going to get the score count in just a little bit, but who do you think is leading right now, Martin? What is your impression?
I have to agree with you. I think it's really hard to say. If I think maybe Red won, but I'm not sure. I just think
it's really close.
Yes.
Okay, we're going through the final motions now, and we're getting the final scores. Red has a score of 44. Green and they're actually still continuing. Excuse me.
Yes.
A very tense moment. I wonder who already knows. I wonder if they already know. They, of course, have not yet scored the farmers being the last thing to score, as they actually do it in the same way as the rulebook. So if you get your rulebooks at home, this is the way that they ask you to score your points. Oh, it is so close. Less than a 10-point
Yeah,
spread
it's
between
so
first
close.
and fourth. So close. And it's still going. Yes, Blue's just scored his massive big old castle in the center. And now farms, I think. Now it's the farmers. Blue and yellow going to get those 12 points. Oh my goodness. And there we have it. Blue takes it away. A really well played game by Drolek, finishing the game on 70. Ziggy of the red pieces coming second on 64 points. Really well played. Yellow leading for a lot of that game, coming in third place at 57 points. And Lumen, who shot out with a really strong start, bringing up the rear on 52. Blue really enjoyed a really strong mid game and a string of really great placements consecutively, which helped set him up for that final push at the end. But a really tight game. Martin, what do you think?
I think Blue played the end really well because I think at the beginning I even said that I thought that Blue might be already out, and he played at the end really well. I think he got a little bit lucky with the monasteries. He got 3 of them, so this definitely helped. But at the same time, he played farmers very well, and maybe Red starts to he helped to build the blue city, so maybe he thinks that it was a mistake now. But yes,
I don't think Red thinks that was a mistake, particularly by managing to steal all of that tempo by joining up with Blue's massive castle at the end there. I thought that was a really great illustration of when cooperation matters and when blocking matters. I was actually surprised. We saw some blocking by Lumen, but by and large, the players really didn't block each other that much. They tried to join in with castles, which I guess you could say is kind of blocking. And we saw that incomplete castle towards the left that Lumen was trying to grow. But largely, everyone was just trying to maximize their tile scores every single turn.
yeah, I think that's the reason. As I said before, if you try to block somebody, then there are still 2 other players who are not getting blocked. So you basically just lose a move, but you could have used it to get more points. So maybe the biggest block for me was when Red tried to block Blue at the beginning, when Blue couldn't get 2 of his pieces back. But Blue, yeah, he played really well at the end and managed to get the win.
An extraordinary game. Tell me, Martin, you've seen so many games of Carcassonne. Is it still something that brings you this childlike delight, this wanting to crush other players, or do you get satisfaction just by playing your own best game?
I actually, I still really love the Carcassonne. If somebody asks me to play it, I'm almost always ready to play it, and yeah, I really love the game. I think it's the best Euro game for me.
Wow, the best. Well, it's certainly got a reputation as being a staple in many people's cupboards for the simple reason that it is easy to learn and hard to master, and luck happens to still be a large part of that game. So, and we all have games like that. I think that's a wonderful thing that you just said. Actually, that gives us the ability to really talk about something which is near and dear to my heart, which is this idea of elitism in board gaming. So, Martin, you've been competing at a very, very high level, at a world class level at board games for a long, long time. Have you ever experienced this idea of elitism, that after a certain point, that board gamers will only play with other high level board games, that they think it's a waste of time to play with new players or people who are just starting out? Have you experienced that yourself?
Actually, I have thought it a lot, but usually I try to make myself challenges. Like if I play Catan, for example, then I always try to remember what they have in hand all the time. Like if you pause the game and ask what somebody has in its hand, then I should be able to say it, because like I try to make it myself harder. I try to focus other things that I would usually not focus, and try to get better by doing those things. For example, in Carcassonne, then again I would if you would pause the game and ask me what tiles are left in the game, then I should be always able to say it. So if I play against maybe not so experienced players, I try to make myself those challenges that could make me a better, or help me to play better against experienced players.
Progress. That's actually something which seems in common with a lot of these, a lot of the higher level players that we've had the chance to talk with, either formally on this stream and informally, just by talking to them through the Mind Sports Olympiad. This idea that you're constantly learning, you're constantly looking to refine your gameplay to get better at the things that will put you in good stead. And a lot of them happen to feel. It feels like a lot of it has to do with memory. That a lot of it has to do with memory, and when you get to games like Carcassonne and Catan, being able to have that memory going while you are also having a social game, while you're talking it up, while you're being a friendly guy, while you're calculating all of this stuff. Do you think that's a skill that anybody can learn, to be able to keep a running commentary in the back of your head while you're a friendly person?
I think it's something that everybody can learn, but maybe it differs how easily you can do it. I mean, maybe some players need to play like 1,000 or more games to do it, and another maybe need to do like 10,000 games. So I think it just differs how easily you can do it, but I think everybody can do it.
Extraordinary. Coming back to this idea before about memorizing, let's say, I know that we're not currently talking about Catan. Actually, we'll use it for the Carcassonne thing. Do you have a system for memorization which allows you to remember the tiles remaining? Are you a pictorial guy? Do you think, or do you store information somewhere else? Have you heard about Memory Palace? Is there a system that you ascribe to, or is it simply just rote bash it? There are 72 tiles, and there are 4 of this kind, and there are 3 of this kind.
Well, I have read about the memory palace and things like that, but I just try to make things easier for myself. For example, like there are 72 tiles total, right? But then I remember how many tiles there are with roads. Then I remember how many tiles there are with castles. Then I remember how many tiles there are with monasteries. And so I just I try to make myself easier to see how many tiles there are already on the board, and what are the ones that are still missing.
Are you a visual learner? Do you memorize things by seeing them? Can you see the pictures?
Yes.
So when you're I noticed you looking around just then when you were setting up all of your tile groups, right? The ones with roads are over here, and the ones with castles are over there. So are you? That's actually really interesting. I find that I'm a visual learner as well, and it certainly seems to be that I've spoken with Ankush and I've spoken with people like Lumen. It seems to me that they too are visual learners also, that you tend to have fewer oral learners or tactile learners who tend to excel at these kinds of board games, which again is really exciting to me because I'm also a teacher. That actually brings me to something else, which I wanted to. This is fantastic. I just get to pick your brain, Martin. Screw Carcassonne, the rest of the time. I just want to talk to you. No, it's actually fantastic for our Mind Sports Olympiad listeners. I think one of the big draws to events like the Mind Sports Olympiad is that you get access to some of these world-class level brains, and you can look at the way that they process information, and you can learn from that and take that into your own life. And that's actually where I'm leading to now, Martin. Do you mind sharing, and please tell me if this isn't appropriate, but do you mind sharing what you do in your personal life? Are you studying right now? Are you working professionally? What do you do?
I'm studying finance, yeah. But I also play a lot of games. Like I think every week I play at least 3 or 4 tournaments, different games like bridge, like 5 in a row, like chess, checkers, lines of action, and there are so many more games.
Which is, I think, one of the reasons why you keep competing at the Mind Sports Olympiad. You've certainly got a very diverse set of interests. Like the games that you mentioned all there, there seem to be a lot of abstract games. You really enjoy having to process and calculate in these very difficult, sometimes difficult to calculate ways. But my next question is really, have you ever found that your skills that you've gotten from board gaming, how have they helped you in your finance work?
I'm not sure how much they have helped me in a concrete way, but I think I just have better logical thinking, better ability to remember different things, and just those little things that make my everyday life a little bit easier.
Aha. There's something else that I wanted to ask you. Do you think that the ability to learn new information systems, which is certainly a big part of board gaming, do you think that that has been helped by your really high level study? Do you think that that is a big part of who you are now?
Uh, I think it's hard to say because I started board games when I was so little. I think 4 or 5 years old. So it's been always big thing in my life. So it's hard to say how much it has really affected me or my.
Who can say? Who can really say how much board games has affected anybody? A fantastic answer. So, for those of you out there who are still with us in the stream, we've just finished round 3 of the Carcassonne tournament here at the Mind Sports Olympiad. We just saw a barn burner where Drolek, the blue pieces, managed to beat a very tough, very tight game, managed to rise to the top. We're about to head into round 4, and I'm hearing from production that we have just a little bit of time before that happens. And we'll keep you updated in the meantime. I see. We've just been told that the players are just being told now which players are going into round 4. And from what I understand, after round 4 there will be another finals. So we still have 2 fantastic rounds of really high level play. Oh, excuse me. No, I am wrong. I believe that round 4 is the final. Is the final for this tournament. So this is the grand final. We're heading into the grand final. Excuse me. So we will definitely be seeing Drolek because all of the players on the table that we just watched had won all of their previous 2 matches. So we're certainly going to be seeing Drolek there, our last blue player. The question now is how are the Swiss rankings shaping up to show the rest of the field. So there is. All right, so I'm heading into our Discord. I'm just being told by production that the finalists have just been announced. And if you too would like to join in on our Discord, please click the link below this stream, which will take you to MSO World. You'll be able to access our Discord. You can sign up for any of these tournaments for free if you'd like to take on some of these strong players here. If you think that we're full of rubbish, that you can beat everybody there, come along. The more, the merrier. Okay, so I've got the standings here. Our top 4 players will be Drolek, who we just saw win his final table then. We've got a player called Dwara Kart from table who's on 21 points, Charlotte Levy Turler, and Mr. Mime. Throwback to Pokemon. Big shout out to all of our Pokemon players. Did you ever play Pokemon, Martin? Are you a Pokemon head?
Not really. I played board games only.
You had other more important things to do. While I was playing Pokemon, you were sharpening your sword. Okay, fantastic. So that announcement has just been made. Congratulations to all 4 of those players to get through this really, really quite stacked and difficult board gaming tournament. This field is really quite strong. Those 4 players, we're going to get an announcement sometime soon. We'll be looking to start that next tournament in the next 5 or 10 minutes. And in the meantime, we still have Martin to talk to, who has been our 2-time previous winner for this event going into this. So, Martin, I want to reiterate this question. You've been here before, where the players currently are. You've played through 3 rounds. You've somehow made it through to the final tournament. you might know some of the other players there. You might be a little bit tired. You might be a little bit fatigued. Talk me through the mindset that you've got heading into this final blitz game of Carcassonne.
Well, I always try to think that, okay, I have won 3 games, but now this is the most important one, but everything starts from 0. So basically, you just take the game like any other, and you try to, just do everything that you can to make it as good as possible. Try to, take your time with every move and don't make any like big mistakes.
That seems like a very important skill for a lot of these multi-round tournament players. The ability to refresh your brain space and to approach it with your craft, so clearing your brain and being able to not be frustrated, not be tilt, not have a preponderance towards one strategy over another, to stay as open as possible. Do you notice how do you do that? How can you very simply just go, you know what, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to trust in my skills, and here is my and I'm going to stay open. How do you do that?
I think I have played so many games of Carcassonne, so I know that everything can always happen. So uh, this is the main reason why I just go and try to make everything what I possibly can do. And if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. But usually it does.
Spoken with the confidence of a two-time returning champion. Actually, that's a big question that I wanted to ask you before, Martin. You're a reigning champion for Carcassonne, and you've done really well, not just for Carcassonne, but for a lot of other games across the gamut of our tournament schedule. Why are you playing this year?
I just felt this year that online tournaments are not my cup of tea, so I took a break.
I'm going to pause you just there, Martin. Hello. Yeah. Hello there. We've got a voice. Who is that? We've got a voice join in. Was that in our Discord? Was that over the stream? Okay, good, fantastic. So, for those of you who are interested in what just happened, both Martin and I are logged in to the Discord so that we can hear the players speak. Some of those tables are using their Discord to speak, and some aren't. We're going to be trying to log in to get the players more used to communicating over Discord while we play, so we can get an idea of the texture of their conversation, which will help inform a lot of their decision making and how they compete and cooperate with one another. And certainly, we'll be looking in future iterations of the stream to be able to bring that voice chat directly to you, so you get that insight as well, which I think. Oh, fantastic! So we have access to that now. So what production, could I ask you to get in contact with the tournament organizer to ask them to reiterate that point so we can have that Discord quality? Could you do that for me, please? Thank you so much. We'll get that sorted for you today. How exciting. We're learning as we go. For those of you who are just joining us now, we're in day 2 of coverage at the Mind Sports Olympiad, the world's largest and most competitive board games tournament. We will be going for the entire month of August, and we're just about to head into the finals for Carcassonne, the round 4. I'm here with Martin Herbermagi. I hope I didn't butcher your name too poorly. Martin, who is a two-time who is the two-time reigning champion for this particular event in Carcassonne, and a very high-level competitor across a number of other games in this tournament previously. And just before we head in, I wanted to ask Martin, why is it, Martin, that you've decided to take a break from this year's tournament play?
Just because I feel that online tournaments, I feel like I'm a better player in live environment, and I just thought that this year I could take a break from it, and maybe that's why I'm better next year, hopefully.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. All right. So we're just getting this sorted out with our Discord voice chat, and hopefully we'll be able to get that set up for our finals, which will be very exciting for us. I do want to take this moment to remind everybody that if you'd like to join in on the live stream, if you'd like to send in questions, we will be looking at these questions periodically to answer your questions. All right, so we're currently going through some technical difficulties. Our apologies for that. This is the first year that we have had not only the online tournaments, but also the online commentary. So there are still a few teething issues here and there. Thank you very much for your patience. In the meantime, I'm going to be throwing out to some of the Facebook comments that we've got on our live stream. Andres Kusk, one of the perennial favorites for the Pentamind, says, "Sorry, Martin, for not making the finals. Should have listened to the stream for tips." There's your mate, Andres. Martin, what do you think of that?
Yes. Yeah, he's definitely a player I'm rooting most this year. I hope he will play well in the next tournaments that are going to take place in August, and yeah, not this time, but maybe next year.
Not this time, but maybe next year. I've got a message from Danton Hope, who says, "I don't think Martin has won the previous 2 years. Did you win this Carcassonne event the previous 2 years?"
No, I won the Carcassonne last year, and I think the second time was like 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Excuse me, I have been misspeaking, Danton. I will take all of the blame for that. Please do not blame my friend Martin. I am the idiot, not he. All right. So I hear our tournament director, Mike Dixon, just on the other end of our Discord. He's getting everything set up, getting all of our players in the game. We are using their Discord, so hopefully we can get their sound to come through very shortly. Okay, they're still setting up. Fantastic. Thank you for that production. Thank you for that, Bartek. All right. This is, of course, going out to Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch, as well as. Actually, that's all that we have going on at the moment. If you are interested in some of the games that we have on offer here at the MSO World, please do check out the link just below the stream. It's right here. No, right over here. There is I guarantee you that if you are interested in any kind of board game, you'll find something which will tickle your fancy. And maybe you can end up like Martin, someone who's devoted their lifetime to these board games, and silly people like Andreas. Am I pronouncing his name right, Martin?
Yes.
As you have continued to play this, as you've continued to play for this at the MSO, Martin, how often do you prepare with other players?
Well, with the Estonians, we have those mini camps or mini weekends that we come together and play some different games. Also, we have tournaments in some sites where we, first we play the games and then we try to analyze them. And also sometimes we just have these little meetings or just, getting together at the evenings and play some board games.
Would you say that board games have taken over your life? How many hours a week would you say that you normally devote to playing board games or thinking about board games?
I think it's maybe it's not that much. I think it's maybe 10 hours a week.
You could spend that easily on Netflix instead. And instead, we've got a world class level board gamer Martin Hobermagi to join us. On behalf of on behalf of the MSL and the rest of the stream, actually, thank you for spending those 10 hours a week, Martin. um, do you think, with all of the hours of Carcassonne left in you, do you think that there's anything left for you to do to improve as a Carcassonne player?
Yeah, I think there's definitely different maybe situations, positions, thinking more about the psychological game, how players react in this position, what to say to them, how to get them aboard with me, that they would, more cooperate with me and,
Wow.
try to play like I want.
That's actually really quite perceptive, and I'm really quite interested in that. This idea of the psychological aspect of these board games, something that seems very common with all these Euro style games, especially in these 4-player variants, is this idea of negotiation. Of improving your empathy, of improving your conversation skills, so people are more willing to listen to what you have to say, and therefore listen to your offers. How do you study that, Martin? How do you think about that? How do you get better at something like that?
Well, sometimes if we play, we think about how I could have played better, just by saying some things, or maybe sometimes I just ask that if I did this, how you thought of me, or what were your thoughts after this? So I just try to analyze them. At the same time, sometimes you can just read some articles, maybe books about those gaming psychology.
Certainly in Catan, which has a much more story tradition of table talk, there's a lot more conversation about that psychological aspect of gameplay, that social aspect of gameplay, and I know that top tier players like Ankush and Lumen are deeply interested in that as well. It kind of feels like the social table talking is one of the final frontiers, one of the most difficult and most important aspects of super high level gameplay. When everybody has memorized the tile set, when everybody understands the probabilities and understands cooperation and understands game theory, there has to be something at the top which differentiates the great players from the rest of the field. And personally, it feels like this conversation thing is it really? So that how you described thinking about it and getting better at it, that's fascinating to me. Fascinating. I don't know how effective this is, so I want to tickle your pickle. I'd like to tickle your brain about this. I'd like to ask you. um, when I'm sitting at game tables, I prefer the games which allow or have this context where you can talk to people, where you can negotiate. And a lot of my gameplay is about making people more relaxed. I want to talk to them, and I end up talking about a lot of things which have nothing at all to do with the game. How often in a game do you talk about stuff that has nothing at all to do with the game, just so that you can have a conversation with someone? Is that
I
a
would
tactic
say
that you
only
use?
not really. I would say I talk about other non-game related things if it really interests me. So otherwise, I would not like. It isn't my move.
That's actually a really interesting thing that you just said. It isn't my move. Something that is for games like Carcassonne and Catan, the idea of the conversational aspect being part of the gameplay. There is also this idea that at these high level tournaments, that disrupting someone else's thoughts is poor gamesmanship. That when it's not your turn, you shouldn't be talking about irrelevant things. Have you come across that idea before, Martin? Do you believe in it?
I guess just if you are more like abstract player, like if you play chess or five in a row, then there's always the silence in the tournament room, right? So I think that's
Yes,
why
yes.
maybe I have more been a player who like don't talk about like some random things that are not game related.
Yes, yes. Absolutely, and I've certainly experienced that cognitive dissonance, that difference of opinion of what is allowable in terms of gameplay a couple of times. Which I hope that our streamers can understand as well. But when we get to playing other games, right, which have more allowable conversation, I'm thinking of a game where you trade in stocks, where you build companies, where you build buildings. Do you know the game that I'm speaking of?
Yeah, I think it's Acquire, right?
Acquire, that's right. A great deal of calculation involved there. It certainly seems like that has the potential for a lot of communication. But of course, because acquire is basically the stock market and there are so many shifting factors all the time and you're calculating so many things, it feels like the tax on brain space in order to have a social game and calculate it's impossible. That you have to just devote your brain to gameplay. So for players like me, Martin, who would prefer this social aspect. Do you think there's a place for us at the Mind Sports Olympiad, or do you think it's mainly just for people who are good calculators?
No, I think there's definitely you don't have to be necessarily a good calculator. Like I think you can if you just like talk and if you make this relaxed atmosphere where others maybe start to like you, and you get those little advantages by more cooperating with others. I think that's definitely a valid strategy. It isn't the way how I played this game, those games.
Absolutely, which is again really interesting. You have to. I would say that one of the main ethical, or one of the larger reasons that people play board games isn't to dominate people, but to learn more about who you are as a person. So what you just said there about understanding more of your own personality and how you tend to enjoy these games, how you think through problems, I feel like we use other people in these board games, and we use the competition in board games just to learn how we think in these more stressful, more higher stakes positions, so that we can normalize and refine our processes to get better at all of these different aspects. What do you think about that, Martin?
Yeah, I think that's definitely one of the aspects what might be so good uh, with board games, that you get to know yourself more, and you know what you are doing in like different kind of situations. So yeah, I totally agree with you.
I On that point, actually learning ourselves more, for years and years, Martin, and this is a little bit heavier now, but board games in general have had a reputation for being particularly male dominated, and it's only recently where we've experienced a rise in more women gamers and more gamers from diverse backgrounds. Do you think this is a good or a bad thing for the world of high level strategic board game thinking?
I think that for me at least, I don't really think about it. Don't think that it matters that much, because I think it just maybe have been that males are more like competitive. So I think that's the reason, but I don't really think that that's bad, or it should like affect somehow.
And that's quite controversial when you consider some games like chess, who have distinct men and women divisions, and of course the Polgar sisters, history's strongest female set of sisters in chess. They championed their father Laszlo fought for years to get to get a unification between the two, to get his extremely strong daughters to be considered in the same light as men. And I'm going to be moving away from that detour because we're jumping straight into the finals, where some players have already made their moves. We're quite young in the game. We have a whole bunch of meeples set up. Martin, can you break this down for me? What do you see so far?
I see that blue and green have already put 4 pieces down, so they definitely don't hold themselves back. I also see that there's one big city that is already shared with 3 people, so probably somebody, most likely blue wants to also come to the city. And then I see that
Everybody is in that big city.
Yes,
Sorry,
and then I see
Martin.
that Blue has got his first monastery, so that's good. That's good for him.
Blue, is that a monastery? I think that's a I think that's a road. I think that's a robber. I don't think that's a monastery. I think
You
Black
mean?
has an abbey. Black has a monastery.
Oh yeah. I mean Black, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like this massive castle. It's going to get finished. I've got a feeling it's going to get finished, and everyone's involved in it except for Blue. So, and Blue itself, Blue seems quite diffuse. Actually, Blue has started two castles. I'm not sure how good how much I like that. Generally, you would prefer to be finishing one castle than trying to be finishing two castles. And there we go. Blue has played a piece such that he's trying to join in on the massive castle that everyone's involved in. If you're going to get points, I'm going to get points.
I think actually that the big castle probably will not be finished, because who is the player who wants to finish it? Because
Yes.
he would have to use so many tiles where others can get points. So I think the big city, if Blue can connect himself into it, then it will not be finished and it will stay how it is. Maybe in the end somebody tries to steal it, but I think not anytime soon.
Aha. So that's something certainly to watch and of course, if Blue ever gets those connecting pieces, either the either the two-sided or the three-sided or even the four-sided castle piece, then Blue's going to be wanting to join that party there. I wonder if we are going to see a fight over this massive castle in the center. It seems like we've already got a lot of robbers on the ground. Drolek, that's actually quite surprising to me that we have so many road robbers. Do you think that it is unusual to see so many road robbers this early in the game?
I'm little bit like this black farmer. I'm not sure what it is doing there, because there isn't like any cities that will be like finished anytime soon. But the other farmers seem quite logical for me, because most likely there are going to be some finished cities.
Interesting from Red that they would rather take the two roads than open them up to potentially that castle, to starting a new castle. I think a big part of that decision is the road to the north of that castle piece. I'm talking about the castle piece in the bottom in the southwest. So that's an interesting note.
Yep.
As to
I think
your
maybe
as to your previous, no, please, off you go, Martin. Please.
I think maybe Red just wants to hold his pieces still, and just get those two extra points. What might become like really important in the end.
Yes, well, it's still early in the game. I think that the interesting point is that Red chose to take the two road points rather than risk that big castle, risk starting a new castle. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, that's what I said. That I just thought that probably Red wanted to hold his four pieces and not use like any like, because maybe he will not get it back, and in the end
Yes.
it might be like important.
Oh, I see. Yes. Yes, excuse me, I misunderstood what you said. Back to a previous point that you mentioned, Black's farmer in the north of the board, because of the abbey placed in the center, also owned by Black. If the road ends up connecting and going near that Black abbey, there is a chance that Black's farmer in the north is going to access everything. I think that farmer and that grassland is something to watch. What do you think?
Uh, I'm not even sure if Black wants to do it anymore, because now there is already one Finnish city. Then probably there will be at least two more. So if he will connect the grass, then there might be other farmers who will start to compete with him. So I think that's why
I
maybe
see. Yes.
he don't even want to get extra cities. Sometimes it isn't best to be greedy. Just take your extra 12 points what you can get yourself.
I see. Yes, and in that situation, actually, green and red would want to steal access to black's completed cities. So they would be interested, I think, in completing the road to to the east. We're seeing a lot of
Yes.
development happening in the east right now, actually. So I think that we're going to see. I think we may see that happen. I see that blue has instantly placed that farmer. I think black is going to be contested here in terms of the farms. And already we've got a big discrepancy in terms of the pieces in hand and played on the board. So green has the most pieces in hand with 4. Whoa! Black's two abbeys right at the start. We're going to have a farm heavy
That's a,
race, my friends.
yes, that's a nice one. I think
That's really
whoever
nice.
gets a monastery that he can put in the middle of the board, then that's like really good for them.
Do you think we're going to see a farm mafia gang war thing? Do you think people are going to be competing for
Uh,
farms here, Martin?
I think so. Yes, at least
Yeah.
how the game has progressed so
with
far.
those two central with those two central abbeys, particularly that abbey with the road which connects all of the farms, I think we're going to end up seeing a board texture with like one massive farm. The question then becomes: are we going to see a lot of completed cities? And certainly towards the east of the board, we've already got that little 2-tile city created by black. It looks to me that we're going to see a lot more completed cities in the northeastern quadrant of the board. We'll see if my predictions hold up, or if I also wonder if Green is ever going to get his robber back from the center of the board. Do you think any player has rocketed off to a lead so far?
No, I think right now it's still very like close.
I've got the feeling that this might be a low-scoring game, although maybe it is a bit too early to say.
Well, if they can somehow finish this big city, I don't know what should happen for that. But if they can, then I think it will like differ. Then it might be like high scores.
Yes. I think there's actually a non-0% chance that blue is never able to connect up with the large city in the center. Can I ask you, Martin, how many pieces remain that would allow blue to do that connection?
I think right now there is at least like 5 or 6 of them.
Okay. Well, currently that's 9 points that's going to the other 3 players, not blue. So we'll see if blue manages to do that in the next few placements. Remember, we only have this is a very fast format of the game in this finals. We only have each player will only have 11 more tile placements before the game is done, which seems like a lot, but it really isn't. Oh, really interesting play from Drolek to contest these farms and look to join up. We're seeing what we predicted. We're gonna have a farm mafia gangster off. It's gonna be a dance battle. Tell me,
This
Martin, do you
also
know
might be
anything about West Side Story?
no,
You don't know
but
about West Side Story?
no.
Which do you prefer, Sharks or Jets?
Sharks, I think.
Never mind. Sharks, good. They're one of the 2 gangs in West Side Story, a musical written by what's his name? Goodness, Bernstein. Bernstein and Sondheim wrote it. Lyrics by Sondheim and Bernstein. Leonard Bernstein's magnificent, magnificent. But that has nothing at all to do with Carcassonne. I interrupted you very rudely just then, and we've just seen Blue connect and complete a castle. What was the thought that I had so rudely robbed you of speaking about, Martin?
I meant just green last move. I think it was one side. He of course wanted to get the farmer on the board, but at the same time he might think that it's a good way to block blue. If somebody puts a road, then maybe blue even can't connect to the city anymore.
Aha! Well, blue certainly has the most points on the board currently with 17, but blue
Yeah,
isn't sharing in that big castle.
I think if Blue can, connect himself into that big city, then he's in a really good spot. But maybe somebody
Really good
also
pick.
thinks that, and then they would try to, block it.
Well, it's Drolek's turn now. The player is not playing. What can I do? It seems that Drolek has just. No, it's Drolek's turn now. So we're seeing them eat into their thinking time, and Drolek actually has 55 seconds, 50 seconds now compared to the other players at 3 minutes 13. So I hope that Drolek hasn't. We don't have a disconnection because it would be really good to see them manage to complete this game. But of course, on an online medium, disconnections do happen. It's simply part of the territory. The game state right now looks to be fairly even. We've got a couple of abbeys by black, which are almost certain to be high scoring. I'd be surprised if they don't get 8 to 9 points here, considering where they are. Although other players don't seem very interested in helping to grow that. Apart from Blue's little castle towards the bottom. Okay, we've got Drolek back, which is fantastic. And it looks like Drolek is trying to start another castle in the south end of the board, or to potentially join up with Blue's castle to one tile north of that. Martin, I can't hear you. Have I lost connection? Can you hear me, Martin?
No, yeah, I can hear. Everything is okay.
All right, fantastic. So the question for me becomes, do you think Blue is going to maintain their lead?
I think if he can connect himself into the big city, then maybe. But at the same time, I think Black has many points still coming from the monasteries.
Yes.
So he might.
And there we have it. Blue's managed to join in.
Yes.
Yes, Blue got there. Actually, I want to draw the viewer attention to the top end of the board, where in spectator mode we can actually see the tile that the players are contemplating placing. So that's a little bit of a if you're a little bit impatient, you can see what they're mulling over, and I think we should be spending a little bit more attention to that as well. So I think that it's a no-brainer. Green is going to be adding that to the bottom. I think Drolek will be looking to steal Blue's castle, or to get a castle together. Although, considering that Blue is now in the lead, I wonder if that is going to be the case, or if Green is going to orient that tile piece away from Blue. What do you think? What would you do here?
I think Green is thinking maybe he wants to steal the big city. So maybe he wants to put the tile up there and try to connect himself into the city.
Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting.
This is.
And they've chosen not to steal the big city. Instead, Green has opted to allow Blue to join in on them and to build a city together.
Yes.
If you were Blue, would you accept that offer? I think I would.
I also think that I would, because as a Blue player, I think getting points to get ahead of Red and Black is quite important.
All right. So we've got red placing this large, this three-sided castle piece now, and red doesn't have a good place to put it. Oh no, excuse me. Red has that castle towards the east of the board. But
I think red might be having
the same thought.
I think red might be having the same thought. Yeah, either he wants to steal the big city, or he wants to,
It's a really interesting point in this. To consider all of these players now who are drawing castle tiles. They can really pick a fight if they choose to. But the thing is, and over to the right-hand side of the board, you'll notice players are really low on tokens in hand. Most players only have 2 tokens left or 1 token left, and the question becomes, do you want to pick a fight, lose your tokens that you potentially will not get back, and then have less ability to capitalize on point opportunities which present themselves through tile draws? For example, the worst case scenario would be to draw an abbey and not have a person in hand, not have a piece in hand to take advantage of those easy 8-9 points.
Exactly.
Aha. So blue is business as usual, simply expanding their castle. Actually, it does a couple of things. Not only does blue expand their castle, but and potentially finish that castle, but it prevents red from getting that person back. That is on that castle.
Yep.
We've got wow, and really interesting from black. Rather than start a new castle, black is simply adding points to everybody. Pretty much
I think
throwing that tile
black.
away.
I think Black wanted to make sure that nobody would have the possibility to steal that city. So I think that's the reason why he did
Oh.
it, or she did it.
And it's interesting that black, I think it's a she, that black chose to do that to lock it in place so no one can steal, rather than take the southeast, sorry, excuse me, the southwest free castle that is on the bottom left hand corner of the board.
Yeah, I think she had so few of the pieces in her hand, so that's the main reason why she chose not to do it.
Yes, it does represent a big gamble here. If you started a new city, especially starting off with a 3-tile castle city, it'd be very difficult to finish at this stage of the game. I agree. Another super
Exactly.
interesting point. Something that I wanted to ask you about, Martin. We're seeing right now some players choose to be a little bit more conservative in their approach rather than gamble. That there are times where you do gamble, and that there are times where you try to be a little bit more safe and you buy insurance. That can I ask you? Do you have a tendency? Do you prefer to be conservative or aggressive in gamble?
I actually like to be more conservative at the beginning and more aggressive in the middle game. But at this game,
Okay.
we have as we have seen, the players have been actually more aggressive at the beginning and are more conservative now. So that's a little bit different how I usually play the game.
And just for the viewers at home, by aggressive, I don't know how Martin thinks about this, but I tend to think of it in terms of the investment in meeples, investment in pieces played, and we see that aggression turn out in the supremely high number of farmers that are out there. That's a gamble that they're going to pay off, and also the number of unfinished castles. There's a lot of gambling involved. I tend to not think that the roads are gambles because it's really easy to finish a road, which is why they're worth so many fewer points than everything else. Is that what you mean by gamble?
Yeah, yeah. I would agree with you. Yes, I think
Yeah,
really
and we
important.
certainly.
What I think really important what now is happening is that there's a piece in the middle where the monetary goes with the road. So whoever gets the monetary with the road gets easy like 8 points. So I think it's really important to see as the game is progressing.
Yes, absolutely. And that really is just luck of the draw, the 1 in 4 luck. We're talking, of course, about the monastery placement, the space right next to Black's monastery placement, which is in the center of the board. Unfortunately, we don't have the capacity right now to highlight that for you. Hopefully, Bartek can move the board such that we can see the new expansion towards the south. Thank you so much, Bartek. Oh, and we've got another Abbey placement by Green. Much needed point there. That I don't think is going to have any impact on the ensuing farm war. But let's actually check in with that farm war now. Martin, I can't quite clearly see in the top right hand corner of the board. Is that black piece? Is that black piece a farmer?
Yeah, it's a farmer. You can see that
Ah,
if it's laying down, then it's a farmer.
it's standing
If it's
up.
like upside, yeah, if it's standing up, then it's on the road or in the city. So this is
So if
how
we
you
ever
can
get
differ.
Black's actually really incentivized now to one have any player play that Abbey piece, connecting all of that farmland because then Black will be able to muscle out all the other guys farming. And from what I can see,
No,
I think that it's yes,
I
Martin.
think actually the piece that's missing in the middle, then you see there's a black guy on the road. So actually the monetary don't go there because like there goes only a road.
Oh, of course, yes, because the road is going through. Excuse me, you're right.
Yeah, but
Thank you.
like But the missing piece, what I'm thinking, is the upper one.
Oh, thank you very much. Yes. So the place that I was looking at, which is to the right of the Abbey, I think that's a straight road piece, and the place
Yes.
that you were talking about, Martin, is the one above that, which is the one Abbey
Yes.
piece, which is 8 points. Yeah, and
Exactly.
I think that actually doesn't have anything at all to do with the farm race. Oh wow, black with another Abbey piece. That's actually huge for black. Massive.
I think he's or she is confident that she can get the road. Afterwards, she can get her piece back, because otherwise
Yes.
she doesn't have any more pieces, so it might hurt her.
I think the entire north-hand side of the board, in terms of farming, will then belong to black if black can connect that through. Luckily for the other players, it only looks like there are 2 completed cities there so far. So the majority of the other, the one big farm idea, I don't think is going to work out. In fact, I think that the main farms towards the south of that middle dividing road, I think that they're fairly evenly shared. Green and red seem to be sharing all of those 2 cities, or 2 completed cities there. I think we're not going to see one gigantic farm anymore.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I think there are going to be like 2 separate farming places in the north and in the south.
So we currently see the score texture is blue is out front at 21 points, green is in second place at 10 points, red is on 6, and black is tying on 6. But that doesn't take into account any of the abbeys and any of the completed and any of the other incomplete castles. I feel like the incomplete castles are a wash, and we've got a lot of robbers actually, including the 2 roads. Sorry, the 2 road robbers in the center of the board, owned by green and black. I feel like it's anybody's race right now. Or actually, Martin, do you think blue is ahead?
Right now, I don't think that anybody is ahead like miles. I think for red, it's really important that he would finish his city in the right. I think for black, it is really important that he would get the road where he can get his piece back in the middle, and whoever gets the monastery but goes in the upper empty place can get like a huge swing in score.
Absolutely. Interestingly, black does not have any pieces in hand. So if black were to draw a monastery piece, they would be scoring no points from it. I do want to draw attention. This has been a very aggressive play style by all players. They've been very consistent, actually, in terms of having pieces in hand. It's been a very low piece in hand game. So I think the being able to bring back non-farmers is going to be extraordinarily important here. Interesting placement by blue. I think blue acknowledges that the castle placement in the center of the board towards the south is probably going to be abandoned, and those people are probably locked away. So interesting that blue wants to start a new castle, but I don't think there's any other opportunity for blue to have placed that castle piece. Actually, excuse me. Blue chose not to take a new castle towards the bottom left-hand corner, that unclaimed 1 tile piece. So maybe blue has some ambitions of wanting to steal back, join up with the green castle. Although it's so late in the game, I can't imagine that that's what they're thinking. What do you think, Martin?
I think blue just wanted to make another city. I think he doesn't want to connect with green. So now the interesting thing is if green would take easy 4 points in the middle, but give black 2 points with abbeys or monasteries.
Aha, that is interesting. Just going back to blue's turn just then. Why do you think it is clearly better to start a new city as opposed to taking over the extra city tile at the bottom left-hand corner of the board? Is it clearly better for him to start a new city?
It's hard to say right now. I would say because he has only one piece in his hand. Maybe it isn't the best one, but I can definitely see why he would do it.
Okay.
I personally, I would have not done it, but yeah, I think it's nothing wrong with the move.
Would you have taken the extra city, the extra city at the bottom left? Would you have joined your
I
piece
think
on
so,
there?
yes. I
Yes,
think
I
so,
think
yes,
I would
because
have as well.
there's there are so few tiles remaining, so I think the chance that he would finish the city is low anyway. So yeah, that's the main reason.
Green's move just then was massive for black. Actually, excuse me, it was massive for green. Green owns that farmland and also took points from the castle. So giving 2 points to black for the abbeys nearby gave green a lot of points there too. That's an additional 7 points in one move, which is massive. So great play by Drolek there. 7 points in one turn, at least.
Yes, yes. He also gave 3 points to red, but I don't think that it's important right now. I think maybe
No.
red is a little bit behind others right now if he can finish the city in rights.
Yes, absolutely. I got a little bit confused just then. I thought that red I thought red was black actually, and I was wondering why black was thinking so long to connect the roads. But of course, red doesn't have. Actually, red is choosing to block this castle between the blue and the green player instead of giving themselves an extra point with their robber in the bottoms in the southwest of the board. That's really interesting. They'd prefer to
I
block
think this
than yes.
I think this time the sacrifice or blocking the others was good for him or necessary, because if they would connect each other's cities, they would get 3 extra points. So he
Yes, yes,
sacrificed
yes.
1 point to take 3 points away from others. So I think this move was really a good one. So
It seems like red's potential to score is a lot less than black's than black, blue, and greens. Would you say the same thing?
yes, right now definitely.
Right now, yeah. Although we do still have, and we could still very much see, we have four tile plays remaining per player, so the board can still change dramatically before then. So we'll see. But it certainly seems to me that red is behind everybody else. Of course, it'll change if red can find a castle ending, and that is what 2, 4, 6. That will be 18 points for red, which would bring red right back into it. I think much like our last round match, this is going to be close. This is going to be a close one.
Yeah, I think Black wondered if he will put the piece into the big city, or he would place it left side, that the others would start building cities, and she would get abbey points or monastery points.
Aha! Super interesting play by Drolak. Again, making the same decision that many other players have made to pretty much throw those points away and give them to everyone, rather than taking an extra couple of points by even taking an unfinished city in the bottom left-hand corner. So many players have agreed that those city points in the bottom left-hand corner are simply not worth the piece investment, because right now no one's got pieces to play. Everyone's got one left except for black, who has 0. So I think we're now seeing the effects of the aggressive playstyle in the start of the game. Oh wow! And
Yes,
Drolek has an abbey piece to play.
I think they're yeah. Oh, okay. I thought that he will not put the piece in the abbey, but he chose that. It's a better to put it. I'm not sure if I agree with it, but yeah.
Green now has no further opportunity to score points unless they return a piece. And it looks to me Green's going to have a really hard time getting back a piece. I think the most likely one is finishing that road in the center of the board that they share with black. So I think that black and green are very much incentivized now to find that straight road piece. You know what? It's so
I think
late in the game. Yes.
I think maybe more likely is that he will get the Abbey piece, what's in left side.
Oh, excuse me, I didn't see that. Thank you, Martin. Of course, the Abbey towards the left-hand side of the board.
I think the last turn for red was huge. He got
Finishing
his city. Yes.
Yes, it really does feel like anybody's game right now. That city is massive. It's going to come down to farms, and I think Green's farmers are gonna prove the difference. Actually, did I miscount that? Does Green have 2 farmers in the center? No.
No, I think
Green has only.
I think it's just one.
Yeah, yes. So Green and Red are sharing those farms right now. Sharing those farms, and there's only really 2 completed castles there. Excuse me, 3. I'm counting 3 completed castles there. So that's still 9 points.
I think actually that Red is in quite good shape now because he can get many points from farmers. Like one farmer guy has 6 points, second farmer guy might have soon 6 points, and the third farmer guy might have 9 points. So if nobody is taking his farmers away, then yeah, he's in good shape.
I don't know why Blue is taking so long to think this move. It feels like it's simply Blue just needs to expand their current existing castle towards the south, or maybe they're. Yeah, I think it's a slam dunk decision. What do you think? What do you think they're thinking about, Martin?
I think he might want to put it in the left side, that it would be harder for Green to finish that road. That then he would not get his Abbey piece back. So I think maybe he wants to, and he would also give himself a chance to get his own. Yes.
Ah, I see. Interesting.
And also he can maybe get his own piece back if there goes the right road.
Yes, of course. That little making those little road rings, which are very common, it feels, in Carcassonne. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. So between those 2 spots, between the left spot and the south spot and the bottom spot, which would you be gravitating towards, Martin?
I think maybe even the left side, because I think Green really needs his piece back. So that's why I think it would be good for Blue. Maybe I would even not put the piece into the city. I would just put it there, that it would be harder for Green to get his piece back.
Yes. And we've just actually seen that happen, that unfold on the board. Green has taken their meeple back by bringing that, by completing that Abbey, as well as they weren't able to take advantage of building that road because they didn't have a piece in hand. But now Drolek has that token back in hand, and we have Black, the only player without a token in hand, and Blue with 2. We'll see now. I would be surprised if Blue doesn't. There's no reason, I don't think, for Blue not to be placing pieces down, because Blue has 2 moves left and 2 pieces in hand.
Yep, I have to agree with you.
All right. So there's actually I think Black has gotten very unlucky not drawing a straight road piece, which are very common. How many straight road pieces are in the game?
I think it's 9, but
9. We've already seen a lot of them played. I still feel it feels like Black has been missing that straight road piece for a long, long time now.
Yes, definitely. Or actually, I think it was like there are 9 curves and 8 straight roads. So the pieces that would fit in the middle, I think those are 8.
So one in 9, so roughly 11% of the tiles, discounting, of course, the calculation of how many tiles have already been placed. It feels like Black's gotten a little bit unlucky here. Sorry, Turla. Luck's part of the game too. Red. Now we've got Red thinking a lot here about this curved road. They could simply take their points in the bottom left-hand corner with that road,
Yes,
or there
or
is
maybe
the
in
expansion of
top.
the farmer. Oh, yes, actually, that's more points, isn't it? That's 3 points at the top or 1 point for themselves. Absolutely. It's really interesting for me. A big hole in my own gameplay is forgetting to really think about how many free points there are on the board
Yes,
in
you
terms of
really
road.
like have. Yeah, you have to be like aware how many points you can get at what places, and you also need to like look if you give any points to others. So maybe at one place you get 5 points, but you give 2 points to another player, or you can choose to take 4 points, but would not give like any points to others. So sometimes maybe you should
Indeed.
sacrifice 1 point. Yeah.
Bartek, could I ask you to resize the map so that we can see the new developments at the south end? Thank you so much. This map is getting quite large now. The players are really expanding in all directions. Okay, so blue has a double ending here, and it's actually really topical that red placed their placement there because blue would have loved to have finished or put one end on their castle there.
I think blue will just take 4 points in left corner or left side just.
Oh, I see. Yes, the north, so the top left hand corner. Yes. I think the decision is between that place, the top left, and the bottom right, whether to try to complete
Yes,
their own
if
castle
you,
there.
yes, because the city town would give him 12 points, but would maybe be crucial for him to be able to win the game.
Blue's taken the gamble. Blue is trying to finish that bottom right hand corner. How many pieces remain, Martin, that would let blue finish that?
I'm not sure anymore because I don't know how many there are on the board. I would have to like
Certainly,
look
yeah.
for a minute or.
Yeah, no, that was an unfair question on my part because I'm asking you to think about a lot more things than simply gameplay from one person's perspective. I apologize. All right, so finally, the south the western that western castle has been expanded, but because of the low people count, is still unclaimed. So that's actually 1, 2, 3 points that anyone could take, and a massive heartbreak for red. Red has an abbey piece with a road, right? Big points
I
potential.
think this.
That would be 8 points.
I think this was one of the main reasons why I didn't like the last move he made, where he put the piece on
The
the
farmer,
farm. Yeah,
the
because
farm, yeah,
exactly now he could have get like
yeah,
4 points in other places, or now even 8 points
yes,
with the. So I think this was maybe a
heartbreak.
little bit misplay for him.
That would have been red would have had 8 points in the top right hand corner of the board, and that actually illustrates the power of having tokens or pieces in hand. Oh, massive plays by blue, finishing up that bottom right hand corner castle. That is a massive injection of points. Let's count quickly. 14 points for blue. Those points are certainly going to matter here. Extraordinary.
Yes.
And both of those abbeys in the western side of the board have now been completed. The black one and the one owned by green. This really is anybody's game. Anybody's game here. Although black seems to be very
Yeah,
far behind everybody else.
but black at the same time has her
Abbeys.
abbeys or monasteries in the middle, but what will give her a lot of points. So I think it's still hard to say. Yeah, I would agree that she's in leading right now, but maybe it helps her a little.
It's going to take some doing to chase blue down, I think.
Yes.
But yeah, there's still we're in our final turn now, so everybody is just placing the tiles in their hands. We can see in the top of the board that Drolek is placing their curvy, their bendy tile, and probably going to be taking the road. Yes, absolutely. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, 5 points for that road, which is fantastic. Those, you know what? I would be surprised if there's more than 5 points between first and second. But I've been surprised before. I'm not really counting. I wonder if these players are.
Oh, and red
All
took
right.
another one.
Yes, another farmer. Red really wants to own that castle. That farmer. Blues taking Rhodes. This is the time to take Rhodes. Now we're into the final scoring. I wonder if I wonder who's going to end up on top. Join us in the live chat. Who do you think is going to be who will end up on top here? That giant castle in the center is a wash. Everybody gets those points. Doesn't really matter.
Very exciting.
Very exciting. We should have some kind of triumphant music and fireworks, I feel. I wonder if on Board Game Arena you have some triumphant music while they play here. I feel like there should be, because everyone's a champion. Something that I've been really impressed by is the level of gameplay here, the decision making, understanding when people pause. And I've certainly I hope that I'm speaking for the rest of the Mind Sports Olympiad audience out there. But Martin, I've really enjoyed your company commentating through this. Your gameplay analysis and your insight has been invaluable to teaching me more about this beautiful game, Carcassonne.
Thank you.
What a dry response! What a dry response. Okay, so we're in the final rounds of counting here. Here we go. Just about to announce a victor. We're counting farms now. We're in the very final stretches, and we've got our end of the game, and we've got a winner. Wow, Blue has managed to take it out by 2 points over Red. Blue, Mr. Mime on 69 points. Red, Dwarakat on 67. Wow, Green on 66 and Black bringing up the rear on 55. Less than 4 points separating first and third place. What a tight game. What we're going to do now is Bartek is our technician is going to be liaising with our winner to see if we can get a winner's interview to a brief chat with the winner to drop in and to talk about the gameplay. But wow, what a match of Carcassonne. If you enjoyed this as well, please put some comments on our Facebook live stream. I'm going to be entering the Discord to see if I can have a chat with everybody. Absolutely. Hey guys, can you hear me in the Discord? Hello, my name's Chris. Can you hear me? Hello, Discorders. You cannot hear me. I don't think... All right, Bartek, would you mind sending a message on my behalf asking Mr. Mime to join us for a winner's interview? Okay, we may have our winner. Certainly, absolutely. So while our production manager, while our technician investigates the possibility for that, what are your impressions of that game, Martin? What do you think of the level of competition that we just watched?
I don't think that they made mistakes. I think maybe there was like some chances that they would have done differently, and maybe could have like maybe the red mover he took 3 points on farm, but could have maybe taken Abbey. Maybe this was the crucial moment in the game where the standings could have been like different, but otherwise I don't think that there were that many mistakes, and I think they really played well.
Those 8 points would have changed the final standings. But you know what? In a game like Carcassonne, where the scores are so tight, all it takes is one slip when you're playing with players of this caliber. I agree with you. I had a fantastic time watching and commentating that game. I certainly learned a lot more. I hope that you out there, that you listeners out there, learned something that would have helped you with your Carcassonne game. And I hope that we're going to be able to see you join in and compete and fight alongside these people in next year's interaction. I'm being told by production that we're going to have the winner connect through via voice, but we're not going to see them on video, which is fantastic. Mr. Mime, can you hear me? Hello, Mr. Mime, can you hear me? Mr. Mime,
I can hear
my
you.
name is Chris. This is I've got Martin Hobermagi over here. We've been commentating through your finals match, and first of all, can we say congratulations on winning a nail biter of a Carcassonne final? Did you think that you were going to win all the way through?
No, of course not. First of all, thank you very much for the congratulations. I was kind of in a lead from the first turns, but it just felt like that because I didn't have any farmers, or at least any valuable farmers. So I didn't think I could win, and especially I was very lucky that what's she called? That Taylor didn't draw her straight, because that would have brought her many points. It costed me the farmers as well. So this was actually the game winner for me.
Absolutely. I actually think there were a couple of crucial points for you. So the first one that you just mentioned, Black not drawing that straight road for what felt like 1 billion turns, and continuing to not have any tokens in hand. But also way early in the game, when the 3 players were creating that massive castle towards the north of the board, I felt like I thought that if you'd been unlucky to not draw the connecting piece in time, and that if the other players had managed to block you out of that large castle, we'd be seeing a very different result.
I don't think so. Actually, the castle wouldn't wasn't possible to finish without me, so it wouldn't have been that much points. I mean, something like
Okay,
6 points for them against me. That's not that much. That would be okay.
fantastic. Sure. Well, you know what? You're the winner, so I'm happy to defer to your expertise in this. Can I say, in such a tight game, what do you think were the little edges that that allowed you to eke it out and beat up everybody else? Do you think that there were simple habits or ways that you played that allowed you to get your nose out in front?
Certainly not. It's just luck. I mean, it's just the luck to draw the pieces to which allow to close your own cities. That's all. In 4 players Carcassonne, you don't. I think there's not that much you can do.
A very famous gamer, a man named Luis Scott Vargas, who's in the Pro Tour Hall of Fame for a game called Magic the Gathering. He says something which I really enjoy, which is that that skill is the ability to lessen the effect of bad luck when it occurs, and to take advantage of the moments of good luck when they occur as well. And I think that you certainly did that today. Martin, did you have any final questions or comments for our grand champion winner, Mr. Mime?
No, I would have actually asked the same thing, that what he thought were the things that made him the winner in the end, but he already answered that.
Well, Mr. Mime, you've answered our questions with a great deal of humility and a great deal of respect for your other opponents. We've really enjoyed having you here. Just before we leave, and I know it's been a massive, massive day of tournament gameplay for you, I just have one final question for you, which is for all of the gamers out there who've been watching the stream and they aspire to fight it out at these higher level Carcassonne events, and they want to get better. What piece of advice would you give all of those players out there now?
Just keep enjoying playing, and sometime there will be a situation where luck turns to you.
Fantastic. Well, you heard it here first. Luck is better. It's better to be lucky than good, as said by Mr. Mime. He enjoys luck, but keep playing and enjoying the game. Certainly, great advice there, Mr. Mime. From all of us here at the MSO World, and certainly from us here in the commentator booth, we want to congratulate you again for making your way through a very tough field this year, and we very much hope to see you involved in other tournaments throughout the tournament schedule throughout the month of August. Do you have any other games that you are interested in playing?
Yes, I've registered for a few more. Actually, I'm looking forward for Marco Polo, which I hope to be quite good at. And one more should be Stone Age. And well, these are the two where I might have a quite decent result, or at least I hope for one. Well, and the others are we'll see what is possible there.
That is fantastic. We're looking forward to following you on those games. As soon as our tournament organizer gets on it, I'm sure they'll be sending through your gold medal. We'd love to see photos of that on social media. But from all of us here at MSO World, congratulations again, and thank you again thank you for taking a moment to share your thoughts with us after the match. Well done, Mr. Mime.
Thank you very much for the moderation, and see you in some next events.
See you at the next event. From all of us here, and that's actually our cue now to wrap it up here from the MSO stream. If you have enjoyed our stream, then please comment down below. It certainly makes a difference to our quality control. If you have questions for us, if you thought there were things that we could do better, please do give us your thoughts either through the Facebook stream, the Twitch, or the YouTube comment opportunities there. We at MSO World very much hope to see you either in the live stream chats or better yet, in the tournaments themselves. From everybody here, good night, and thank you for joining us. Bye, guys.
Good night
Say
from
bye,
me
Martin.
also. Bye.
Bye, guys.